What's going on, YouTube family? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight with a lake breakdown for Toledo Bend. We are on, I believe this is going to be our fourth video for Toledo Bend. So if you missed those videos, just click that link up here at the top, and that'll take you back to the first Toledo Bend video, and then you kind of watch it from there if you live on the Louisiana side. Now, if you live on the Texas side, and maybe you don't do a lot of fishing on the east side of Toledo Bend, maybe you're more on the west side, then these videos are going to be right up your alley. We're starting at the very northern tip of Toledo Bend, right there where the river is, the river that basically separates the two states. We're going to start right there at the river and work our way all the way down the west coast, I guess you could say, of Toledo Bend. So let's jump into it. Let's see what we find. Here we go. As I mentioned before, if you missed the first couple breakdowns that we did for Toledo Bend, you can click on those links if you missed them at the beginning. You can also go out to the Lake Breakdowns playlist that's out there on the YouTube channel for Simplistic Fishing, and you can find not only Toledo Bend, but you can find a lot of different lakes out there. I think we've broken down 35, 36 lakes now all across Texas. So lots of stuff to check out there. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump into this thing. We're going to look at it from the Google Earth perspective. This is Toledo Bend again, and I'm just going to click on this so it kind of zooms us in. And let me show you what I have here organized on the left-hand side. If you haven't watched my videos before, basically what I do is I break down all the things that are unique to the lake, right? So in this case, we've got offshore hotspots that we have out there. We're going to talk about those in a different video. We're actually going to break those down, talk about why we think those are going to be high percentage areas to fish. We've also, like on this lake, there were lots of bridges. So we marked all the bridges, the ramps, creek channel swings and bends, rocks, more channels that we marked, all the channels that we could find. We marked all of those, most of them with tracks, but some of them we had to do with waypoints because of the limitations that Humminbird has. And then, of course, we marked several different points that look good. And then this one's pretty cool on the west side. Something we didn't get to talk about on the east side of the lake was the Texas Park and Wildlife fish attractors. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever fished around these things before, but these are magnets for fish, not just crappie, but also bass. So definitely good points to go look at, good areas to go look at and try to find some fish. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the west side. We stopped, last time we were talking, we stopped way up here at the river. So that's basically what we're going to do is we're going to hop over here and we're going to start here. We're just going to work our way down the left-hand side. So let's go ahead and start up here, and let's talk about what we got here. So basically right here off the edge. Now again, on this image, really the best image that we could find, I think, was back, I think 2014 was our best one, but this one might be it here too. But this lake does not fluctuate that much, so it's kind of hard to see things. Let's see if this is going to be a good enough image for us. If not, we'll change it back to a different day. But I think this will work. So you got a little bit of rock here along the bank line. You've also got a pretty decent little seawall there that you could probably fish as well. Then further out here, looks like we do have some rocks. It looks like I need to pull that back a little bit because apparently, there we go. Now we can see it just a little bit more. That gave us a couple more feet. But you can see here we've got some rock off the edge of this point, some debris, tires and junk like that. So it's probably just a good little area just to fish around, just lots of cover and stuff to fish around right in that area. And then as we move down, we're not going to see much as we start coming down this side. It was a lot of this stuff is just kind of muddy, just typical kind of Texas waters, not a lot going on. There wasn't even a lot of cover on that bank line. But as you come down here, there were a couple spots we wanted to mark for you. The first one right here, there's some rock right along these docks. That could be pretty good, definitely. And then also a little bit further down here, you got this little point that comes out that's got some really good chunk rock coming off the side of it. Now, you're going to need to be super careful because right here you can see, I don't know if that's an old fence line, dock line, whatever it is. You just need to be super careful because if that water's up and those posts go into the water, I don't know if that ever happens, but you're going to need to be super careful right around there. But that also looks like a prime opportunity to flip. So you could flip each one of those posts and probably pick up some pretty good fish off of it. All right, so I'm going to keep on moving down here. And you've got a little bit of a creek channel that comes out through here. Again, we couldn't mark everything, so we marked all the major ones, but you could probably check this out too. We should even put a couple points there for you guys to check out that. So I would definitely go up there and check that out. Now, someone told me the grass is gone in this lake. No one's verified that for me yet. So let me know, is the grass really gone? Because someone said all the grass is gone. You can see here we actually have a section where we marked grass. I'll go ahead and uncheck that because there is no grass anymore from what we've been told. So as we move further down here, coming off this point, you know, you was hoping I'd see some rock or some debris or something like that, but really just nothing going on along that point. Let's keep moving on down the bank line until we get into some good stuff. Starting to see some rocks now finally. So down this bank line, you know, just not a ton of cover, but you do have some good rocks right here around this dock line. And then as you move further down, you got some pretty good looking bushes that are out here that you could flip around. And that just looks really, really good. And then as we move further over here, you got rock that's right along the side of this seawall that you could fish around. And there's some more right in here. You can see it right here underneath the trees. Pretty good rock, riprap to fish around. And you kind of got that in all these different areas, right? So you've got it here. Let me zoom back out a little bit. You've got it right here, on the side here, here, and here. So all these spots, and you've got really, you got 5 or 6 different spots you could fish here that all look like prime spots to be able to fish. This is probably going to be your weakest spot. So if I'm looking at all of these and I'm thinking what are going to be my high percentage spots, obviously the point with the brush, that looks really good. The point with the rock, that looks good too. This would kind of be really close to the point. So I'd say that's probably pretty decent as well. And then here you've got a little secondary point, right? So secondary point with rock and right here as well. So just if you can kind of figure out your patterns and figure out where they're staging at, that's really going to help you, you know, define, really figure out where those fish are going to be. But I think all these areas in here would be really good areas to look at. And then of course, as you move on down, you got another little point here. And then you got a really big main lake point right here. It doesn't look like it has a lot of flat to it, but it does have a lot of rock right off the edge of it. All right, so I'm going to zoom back out so I can just show you guys where I'm at. I just crossed that first big point up here on the northern side. So let's zoom back in here. We're going to keep on moving down. Now, one thing I did jump over was there is a ramp back there, and we do mark the ramps. You guys heard me talk about ramps before. The ramp pattern is a good pattern. I mean, it's not always a good pattern, but at certain times of the year, that pattern is dynamite. And if you can just run the ramps, I mean, you've got plenty of ramps to run on this lake. You could just run that ramp pattern and probably do really, really well. All right, so then moving down here, we've got some good rocks that are right here off this point as well. That one looks good. You got a pretty decent little seawall with that rock coming all the way down. You've also got the same thing right in here, just a little section of rock. So if I'm fishing this, obviously I'm going to go to this section first because it's more isolated than this area. But I would definitely check that out because there's not a lot of rock on this lake. And you can see, you know, it's in very limited areas. So here you've got a couple ramps. And then right across from these docks or that marina, I think it's a marina. Yeah. You've got some rocks that are right in here as well. So all of that looks pretty good. You've also got some more rock, just kind of scattered rock. We're going to talk about them all, but you got these rocks off this point. That looks good. That goes all the way down to here, basically. So you got pretty good rock right in there. And then just scattered rock in these two spots. But I would definitely focus around that. That point looks really, really good. Moving on down here, we've got some more rock around this point. And then if you look right here, I would assume that because that is the Texas and Louisiana line, that's going to be your river channel that's coming up right close to this. Now that means this area right here is primo for finding fish. So if you're out here for the first time, maybe on Toledo Bend, and maybe you're staying over here at this this marina, or you're launching here at this marina, the first thing that I would do is I'd come out here and verify is that if that is the river arm, which I believe it is, then that's going to be one of your best places to fish, right in there and right in here, right where it gets really close. In fact, probably along in here, you're going to find some brush as well. So we may not be able to see it on Google Earth, but there's probably definitely some brush piles and things right along this area. This is a primo area. I can't stress it enough. All right, so then moving down here, you've got some more rocks, and this is all, you know, right along that river channel. You got rock in here. This looks like you might have some extra debris and stuff you could fish around. Check that out. If that's still there, that's awesome to flip around and stuff like that. You got a lot of debris. You got a rock on each side. You even got some laydowns over here off the side. And you have the major creek arm that's close by. That all looks really good. All right, so I'm going to keep moving on down. Didn't see too much in these little pockets. You know, I'm not saying that they're bad pockets by any means, but just from a Google Earth standpoint, didn't find too much to be able to mark there for you guys as far as laydowns or rock or stuff like that. There was a little rock off this point as well. And remember, guys, again, we're starting to see that river channel fairly close to this bank line, right? So this bank line might not be that great, but my guess is you're going to find some debris along the edge of that river channel. So go out here and scan down this way, just along the edge of that river channel, and see what you can find. You might find some brush piles and stuff like that, or even here where it starts to make the turn, you might find some stuff out in here. All right, moving on. We got a couple more ramps that are back in there, so you can check those out. And then we got a couple ramps and rock pretty much everywhere down here. So it's just kind of scattered. Again, that rock is not, it's not everywhere. It's just in these limited spots. You got a little bit of rock here behind the dock. You got your ramp. More rock in here. Again, another ramp. All these personal ramps, these are money. So those are definitely good places to fish. And then you've got the rock, little bit of rock around a couple of them that you could check out as well. But those ramps right there are very, personal ramps. Obviously, it's not a big public ramp. So you basically have 4 little personal ramps that you could fish with a little bit of rock around the edges as well. So I think you could have some pretty good success there. You also come down here, you got some more rock ramp, and then you just got a little bit of rock here. The lake would have to be pretty much at full for you to be able to fish these rocks, but you could come over here and fish those rocks as well. All right, so I'm going to back out of here and move on down. As we get further down here, we've got some more rock here in the channel. This looks pretty good, just right outside this creek channel, little point. I could see that being a pretty good spot. You've also got a little ramp back there as well with some rock around it. If I zoom in here, that looks like it's probably a public ramp. So some pretty good riprap there, and then some real shallow rock right up in here. The thing I like about this one is it's got a really good creek channel. So you guys have heard me talk about creek channels, and if you're in Texas, creek channels are huge. I mean, they're pretty much huge everywhere, but it seems like since I moved to Texas, 10 years ago, my focus on creek channels has just become a lot more focused. I mean, I'm definitely always paying attention to where the creek channels are and going and finding those creek channels and, really having some success. And I think that's really been the turning point of my fishing, was when I started paying more attention to the creek channels. So here, what we've done is we've created a track for you guys that marks exactly where that creek channel is. So you come in here on your boat and you're not really sure where that creek channel is. You can kind of see it on your graphs, but they're not usually 100% accurate. This is 100% accurate. This is actually using the imagery to make the track. So we made the track here. You got a real good bend and turn right in there. And then another pretty good little turn right here, almost swings up against the bank. So you can look right in that area as well. And really just that whole creek channel, just fishing around the whole creek channel. So we got more to show you. That's not the only creek channel, but as we move further down here, again, I want you to, if you're fishing this lake, I want you to pay close attention to this river channel out here, right? Anytime that river channel starts getting up close to the bank, those are areas that you want to fish, right? So if you don't have much time, maybe start right here on this point and fish down here to this rock, or maybe fish all the way down, down to here. This big bend right here, I don't know how deep this is, probably too deep to fish, but if it's not, go out here and look as well. We'll probably talk about that on the offshore hotspots. I'd imagine there's going to be some kind of contour there that's going to definitely trigger me to say, hey, that's a good spot. So let's keep going. We move on down here. We got a little bit of rock right here off this point. Now that looks like a little honey hole, right? That's that little spot that most people don't realize that it's there, because when the lake's up, it's all covered up. Most people probably just zoom right by it, but that could be a really good little spot throwing shaky heads and things like that on. You've also got the same thing down here, kind of the almost exact same thing. It looks like rock. This could even be an old road bed possibly. I don't know, but it definitely is some rock for sure. So take a look at that. And then as we move down here, we're going to keep moving down. We've got some more rock, just kind of scattered rock right in here. I'm so distracted by that big turn there. It's crazy. I've got some rock right in here, so you can take a look at that. I've also got a little scattered rock up in here too. So maybe just fish from that little point down to right in here, fish this lay down, kind of see what you can find there. So then as we move further down, not seeing too much on that bank line for a while until I got a little bit further back in here. You've got some pretty good little pockets. Hopefully that grass is still there. I'm not sure if it is. We may even mark some of these areas as grass. I'll turn it back on. But again, I don't think the grass is there anymore. As you move back in here, though, I really like these bushes. You guys have heard me talk about Richland Chambers before. I've never been to Toledo Bend before, so I could be way off here. But anytime you get these bushes that are in the water like that that provide pretty good cover, pretty good shadows, things like that. It really does seem to be a really good fish attractor. So I would probably hit each one of these bushes. Just go out here and just flip these little bushes and see what you can find. If the water's up, let's go ahead and pull the water up. Yeah, those bushes are pretty much in the water. You've got several of them over here. You've got some more over here. You've got more right in here. And then some additional ones right here off this point. So if you see that brush symbol, you're going to know, hey, you're around it because they're all along that bank line. So just take a look at that. See if you have some success there. Maybe you will, maybe you won't, but my guess is I think you're going to do pretty good there. Now these creek channels, these are really obvious, so we didn't mark them because you can basically pull up in your boat and you're going to know exactly where they're at. But you've got two pretty decent little channels that go back in there. And I'm going to bring this back to where we were before so we can see everything. Go 2012. All right, so let's keep on moving down. We got some rock that's off of this point. So you could look at that. That one looks interesting. It's kind of messed up with the image that you get from Google Earth, but it does look like there is some rock there. So I would definitely take a look at that. There could be some brush right there too, but I couldn't tell if that's just the image that's messed up or if there was actually something there, but there definitely looks like there's rock there. Moving down here, we come off of this point. We got some more rock off the point. This one comes a little bit further out. You can see you got some pretty good chunk rock or some kind of debris. Right here, you've got another one of those bushes again. Probably should have just marked every one of those bushes on the lake for you guys. And then we got some more rock that's over in here as well. This point looks really good, guys. I would definitely focus on this point, especially if you had a southerly wind that was running into this point. I would for sure go take a look at that. As we move further in here, not a lot going back in that pocket, but you did have a little bit of rock that's right around here. You can see this just looks like frog heaven back in here if that grass is still there. Not sure if it is or not. But as we move further down in here, we got some more rock off that point we talked about. Again, paying close attention to this river channel, we're getting into the honey holes, right? We're getting into the hot spots right in here for sure. So if we look right here, we got some rock in there. Some more rock right in here as well. And this is what I don't understand. If that really is the river, first off, the river made a 90-degree turn. That's pretty impressive. But there is something right here that looks like cuts through that little point. I would fish this whole point right in here. This spot right in here just looks really, really good. You got some rock up there, but really right where that, where that river channel is or in that area. Now, as you move further down here, we got some rocks. You got a ramp right there, really close by. Again, you're looking for brush along this river channel, if that is the actual river channel. You got some more rock right in here as well. And then back here, you got like this old, beat up, junked out ramp and stuff. Now, if the water's up, I'm not sure that ever gets covered. It's still out there. There's got to be some, some junk in the water somewhere right here. There's all kinds of just debris and stuff to fish back here in this little pocket. So, all right, so I'm going to move on back. As we get down in here, we're down to Lewis Branch. There's a ramp up there. Didn't find too much to mark for you guys, but there is a pretty decent little creek channel back here as well that we've marked. And this one wasn't as defined, right? If you pulled up in the boat, you wouldn't exactly know where it's at, but this right here will take you exactly to that creek channel. So I think you could really have some success back in there as well. Then as we move further out here off these points, we've got some more rock off of this point. And then as we move further down here, we got more rock. Now, again, these points look juicy, especially if that river channel will swing up against here. These are going to be high percentage areas for sure. So check that out. Check this out in here too, this rock around this area. Can't tell if those are laydowns or if that's the image. Everything looks like it's all messed up. So couldn't really mark anything for you guys in that spot, but those could be potential laydowns as well, and that could be as well. Then as we move further down here, got some rock, some real good like bluffy walls. So that's got to be your main river channel because this looks pretty deep right in here. So you got some pretty good rock going on right in there. And then as we move further down, got some more rock, just kind of scattered in places. You've got some right there. Again, looking where that rock is, that makes perfect sense because if that river swings up against it, that's where you're going to have your hard spots right there. Probably have another hard spot right there where that other rock is. This all makes sense why you're seeing these hard spots off these points. So you got the hard spot there. May have a potential lay down there. Might want to check that out. Then you've got some rock out here as well, just right out here off the point. So as we're moving further down here, we finally get into the Texas Park and Wildlife stuff. This is the first brush pile that they put out there, or at least the first brush pile that we're going to run into that they put out there. This one's right here off this point. And I've got it marked for you guys. So if you just get the card or if you get the digital file, you can just grab that and then that will take you and mark all those for you so you'll know exactly where they are. But that one looks like a good one. It's close to the river and it's also off of a point there, kind of just right in the middle of everything. So that one looks really good. I would definitely want to fish that one. As we move further down here, we've got some more rock again. Love that dock. I'd definitely fish that dock. And then moving down here, just rock along these little shorelines around these houses, probably just some riprap and stuff. But all the way off these points, these are really good places for square bills. So come up here and just bang them off the rocks. Probably have some pretty good success. And then while you're there, again, right here in the middle of this little cove or pocket, whatever you want to call it, we've got another brush pile. Or Texas Park and Wildlife Department does. They're not necessarily, they may not be brush piles. They could be those PVC things that they create as well. But anyways, you just want to go check all those out. There's always fish on those. Sometimes not the right fish for us, for bass fishermen, but there's always crappie on them, it seems like. All right, then moving down here, we've got some more rock. You can see right here, it's right here on the inside of this dock. So it's kind of hidden back in there, but you can go back in there and toss some stuff around, see what you can find. And then moving down, we're just going to keep following this bank line down the west. We're going to end this thing in about 5 minutes. So I don't bore you too much. Then we'll finish with more videos as we continue to break this lake down. We've got some more rock right here. It's right here off of the seawall. And again, you guys heard me talk about those seawalls. If you find those seawalls that are really defined like that, the water's pretty high up on them, get completely parallel to them and flip down the side of them. Get as close as you can to the seawall and just flip down the side of them. And you'll be surprised at the kind of fish that you can catch off those seawalls. You've also got some rock from here, or out here off this point. And then I don't think we find too much more until we get back. We got to get back in this cove. So before we do that, let's look at this. This one looks pretty good. They got this one set up in a pretty good spot. You've got some high spots out here as well. We're probably going to talk about these when we're breaking down the contours. But if we look in here closely, you can see all these bushes. And those bushes can be really good to flip around as well, just like we were talking about earlier. But see, these are a little bit further out in the water. So, you're going to maybe feel like 2021's actually, I think it's more shallow than 2015. We might keep it on 2021. But when the water is up, I'm sure if I can find when the water's up, 2015 may have been a good time when the water's up. I guess even when the water's up, those are out of the water. So find the ones that are in the water, and those are going to be your money ones. All right, so let's go ahead and just move this back to 2021. So I think that might give us a better image. I guess I completely missed the boat on that one. Again, I was a bunch of birds. I thought I missed a big rock pile there. So as we move further back in here, we're going to find some more rocks and some ramps, and we're going to get a good creek channel back here too here in a second. So let me zoom in here, and I'll kind of show this to you. You got some rock right in there, which actually this image isn't as good. I thought it was, but it's not. There we go. Got a little bit of rock right there that you can see. You've also got some more rock that's right up in here. So right here off the side, you've got a pretty good laydown that's there too, but you can see there's a little boulder or something like that. Right there we have that marked. I'm going to move that down one more and see if I can see a little bit better. There we go. So you can see here we've got some rock right along that side. All right, so then I'm going to keep moving up here. We've got a ramp up here that you can take a look at. That one looks like a public ramp. You got another one over here. Obviously, all these bridges are fun, especially get your A-rig out and fish all the pillars. That's tons of fun, especially this time of year, late November. And then you've also got a nice creek channel up here as well. So we've marked this creek channel for you guys so you can take a look at it. That one looks really good, guys. That one looks like it could be a really good one. Definitely, looks like it has plenty of water in it as well. So I think you can go back there pretty safely. So I would definitely go check that one out, especially if you're into the shallow water fishing. And then as we move down here, I'm going to go ahead and stop us at this point. So let's finish up right here. We'll finish the video, and then we'll continue on here in a few days. I'll post another one out there for you guys so we can keep going. Having a hard time talking tonight. I've also got some rock here around this dock. And then as we move further back in here, we got another pretty decent little creek channel, so that we've marked that one for you too. That one's got some pretty good turns and swings and all kinds of good stuff. So definitely go back there and check that one out. And then let's go ahead and finish right let's finish out here so I don't get confused next time. So we got some rock here on the point, another ramp right here as well. And then if I zoom in here, you can see we've got some rock right along this point as well. Pretty good little riprap. Again, that's going to be your shallow diving crankbaits, things like that, square bills. You can also do liplesses around those areas too. They can be pretty successful too. Then you've got some more rocks right in here. If I zoom in, you can see it in the shadow. And then a little bit further down, you've got some more riprap just right in this little area. It may go up here. We just can't see it. So it may stretch this whole little area, but I'm not sure. Can't really tell from Google Earth. And then as we move further down here, we've got a little creek channel that's hidden back in here. This one looks pretty good as well. Love the turns and the swings that it makes. It just looks like a really good area to go back there and fish. And then also we get back up in here and we see a couple more areas with these rocks. So you got rocks off each one of these little points here. And I'm going to stop right there. And what we'll do is we'll start our next video right here on this Texas Park and Wildlife brush pile or whatever it is. Fish attractor, let's call it that. The fish attractor for Texas Park and Wildlife just north of Highway 6 is where we're going to start next time. I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Toledo Bend is tough, man. It is a big old lake, but I can't wait to go out and fish it sometime. It's definitely on my bucket list. If you guys want these waypoints, we definitely have them for you. Go out to simplisticfishing.com and you can pick up the digital file or you can pick up the SD card. Not only can you pick it up for Toledo Bend, you can pick it up for, like I said, 35 different lakes that are out there. And I continue to add more and more each day. So until next time, guys, I hope you catch your PB and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Take care.